Okay, this, my friends, is the bad boy of weeds. This is an invasive weed. It's called Lesser Celandine or Pilewort. The Latin name is Ficaria verna, and it actually looks kind of pretty. It grows in the woods, and it also gets into your lawns, and before you know it, within a few years, it really can take over a lawn. It has really pretty daisy-like flowers, and the leaves are a nice dark glossy green. They're heart-shaped, or they call that cordate. See where the center, where it meets the stem, it's indented there. It makes a heart shape. These will flower now, and then they will disappear within a month or two, and then come back in a fuller, bigger way next year. So it's important, if you don't want these to spread in your yard, to get rid of them now. Look at these younger plants here. I just want to show you that the Lesser Celandine has 4 ways of reproducing or spreading. First of all, the flowers will bloom, and then the seeds will form and then drop off or spread around in the wind or in the water. Second of all, the little bulblets at the bottom will keep growing and keep the energy in the plant. And when you dig up the plant, if you don't get all the bulblets, they will stay there and reproduce new plants. Also, you see roots here. The roots is the 3rd way. And then some of the plants, most likely the older ones, have something called little white, they're like tendrils. They're like little white, really thready stems that grow off of the green stems. So they have a way of attaching into the ground and forming new roots. So 4 ways these plants can reproduce. You know, we get the flowers out, we get the bulblets out, we get the roots out, and if we see any of those little tendrils forming, we make sure we get those out too. Okay, we keep all the good soil that we can and toss it out. There we go. So if we're going to dig out these monsters, now is the time before they start spreading even more. So let me show you how. So I'm taking my shovel. I have a straight blade going across there. You could also do it with a rounded type shovel. So I'm going straight down as far as I can. There's a lot of rock in this soil, so I'm going as far as I can. Might have to go around to different sides of it. And then scrape underneath, try to get it up in one piece. Just take away the plant and make sure that we dispose of these plants totally. It's not the type of thing you throw to the side of your fence or you throw in your neighbor's yard or you put in your compost pile. These guys will survive and reproduce, and then you'll have a bigger problem on your hands. So you can see it's going to be a lot of work, but I am going to work on this big patch today. So I hope you can get outside and take care of your weeds right now. This is the time to do it. By the way, whenever you remove any weeds, it's a good idea to pack the soil down and cover it up with mulch or plant something new in there. Whenever you have disturbed soil, you're just inviting more weeds to grow in there. So it's really important to try to cover it up. I'm getting a little system down here. I'm scraping up a big area with the shovel. And then I can go back with my little digger and take out the smaller sections. Making sure I get those little bulbs and every green part of the plant as I go. By the way, these weeds are very resistant to any kind of weed killers. They will just keep fighting and coming back again. So it's better to handle them this way if you want to get rid of them. Oh, I'm solving all the world's problems as I'm out here thinking and working. It's really, for me, it's very therapeutic. And I know at this time of year, there is quite a bit of work involved, especially with the weeding and the pruning. But just imagine ourselves in June and July being able to sit back and relax and enjoy our gardens, and then we can plant some pretty flowers and vegetables and just enjoy it. By the way, if you're enjoying what you're seeing now and if you're learning from it, you can always learn more. I have a series on 1 year of gardening. It's called Ground It in the Garden. You can go to YouTube and find it on my Just Us Grown Up Girls channel. It's 5 separate words. And look under the Ground It in the Garden playlist and you can find the videos I've made so far. Some good topics, some good things that you can do in your own yards throughout the year. And if you follow along, you can have a beautiful yard too. Remember, it's one step at a time, one weed at a time, one mulch bed at a time, one thing at a time. And before you know it, you'll make a lot of progress and you'll be proud of all the work you're doing. Okay, this is basically the area that just had all of that lesser celandine in it. And now I'm covering it up with mulch. I don't want to promote any new weeds or weed seeds from growing in there. I should have a rake, but I always forget my rake. I'll just use my hand. A nice big pile right here. And as you can notice, there's really no weeds growing under this pile of leaves. And that just shows you the leaves work as a natural weed suppressant in the woods. Okay, a few more and I'll be done. Okay, it took me about an hour and the job is done. So I'm going to continue on this mission and get all the lesser celandine I see in my flower beds. So I might as well finish what I start, right? Since I'm outside and I'm taking care of that lesser celandine, I also want to show you 2 winter annual lawn weeds. You might recognize these right here. These are the ones that when you walk along or when you pull them, they pop. Okay, the nickname for these is pop weeds. The real name is Hairy Bittercress. And these are actually edible. They're loaded with vitamin C and antioxidants. A lot of people use them for salads or soups or pizzas or pesto or smoothies or whatever. But in our lawns, they're not very appealing. And they can get out of control if we let them. So let me tell you a couple things about them. If you don't have that many in your lawn or in your beds, the best thing to do is to get out and pull them out. You want to get way to the bottom and dig down deep with your digger or your shovel. You want to try to get the tap root. These hairy bittercress or popweeds have a long tap root. And if you don't get that tap root, this bottom part here, this one's pretty small, but oh yes, I think I did get the tap root there. This bottom part here is called the basal rosette, and it has some little leaves there. If you look closely, they look kidney shaped, and from that basal rosette you get a long stalk about 10 inches long that has flowers on it. One of these plants can push out thousands of seeds. They might not all be viable, but many of them are. So if you let them go year after year, they really become a big problem and take over your whole lawn. So like I said, if you don't have that many, you can pull them out, make sure they go in the trash or in your bowl for your vegetables for cooking. So you're going to just dig them, get the taproot, and get rid of them. Okay, now I have a whole bunch in my lawn. So what I'm going to do is, I called the guy who cuts our grass, and he's going to come out this week. Normally we would want to wait, but since we have so many all in the lawn, I mean a lot, I'll show you in a second. But since we have so many and there's no way I can pull them, I want him to come along with the lawnmower before they get to that popping stage. So normally at this time you want your lawn cut down, not too far, maybe to 3 or 4 inches. But I'm going to ask him to cut down 2 inches, not much more, so that he can get these before they finish their process of creating seeds. If you'd like to go with a more natural, non-chemical way of treating these weeds, the best thing to do is to create a full lawn. Make it nice and lush. You can use fertilizers and fill it up so that the weeds don't have any place to grow. If you really feel like you need the chemicals, you can always use a pre or a post-emergent treatment in spring or fall. There's also another a winter annual weed that you'll see a whole bunch of, and that is your chickweed here. Chickweed is another edible plant. A lot of people put it in their salads and stuff, just like they do with dandelion leaves. This one you could pull out if your soil is pretty loose, or just scrape the soil a little bit and they come up. Not like the other ones with the tap roots. So these have a tendency to get in the lawnmower blades. They get stuck in there. So if you have some big ones, it might be good to get out there and pull them yourself before you use the lawnmower. So there you have it. Why do I care about these weeds, especially the invasive ones? Because, you know why? They're taking over our natural lands. The lesser celandine over there is taking up space from the natural spring ephemerals and other plants. And if we don't have those plants, then our pollinators don't have enough plants, and it goes on and on down the food chain or the ecological chain. If you can get outside, please do. You know, we all own our little slice of the earth. If we don't own it, we rent it. But anything that we have the privilege to occupy or use, we have an obligation to take care of it, a responsibility. So if we all pitch in and try to make our world a better place in little ways and big ways, the world will be better for it, and so will you. So thanks for listening.